John Fritzy, White House correspondent for USA Today. Thank you so much for talking to us. All right, so Congressman Steve Cohen says that Democrats need witnesses and that there's this new evidence that needs to come to light. That's why they want to potentially talk about a potential third article of impeachment. What is this new evidence and why now? Why so late?
Well, I think Democrats are talking about some new emails that have come out. Senator Schumer, in particular, has been talking about this email from OMB, the email to the Pentagon. I think that's part of it. You know, the longer this goes on, obviously, the longer that House Democrats can collect evidence, and there's been some talk about them, maybe adding to an article. I think, what this really is about is sort of negotiating, obviously, the rules of this thing. This is kind of a classic impasse with Nancy Pelosi saying that she's not going to send these articles over until she sees how the trial is going to be run, and Leader McConnell saying he's not going to do the rules until he sees the articles. It's not entirely clear how they get out of this, but I do think that it's worth remembering that although we're all talking about this now for obvious reasons, these folks are out of town. There was not going to be a lot of work on the trial at this week or next week anyway, and perhaps when they all get back from the break in a week and a half or so, there's a chance for them to come together and try to find some agreement. But right now it's hard to see how that gets done.
So Pelosi, McConnell, do they reach a deal?
It's interesting. I was looking at what happened in '99 and the impeachment of Clinton in '99 and the trial. And, they did ultimately come to a deal. Majority Leader Lott and Minority Leader Daschle, did work out a bipartisan agreement. I think there's room. There's a middle ground between no witnesses and witnesses, right? There's different ways you can do that. So there is a potential for agreement. The big difference, there's two big differences, I think. One is that in '98, the Republicans had a midterm, and they lost seats, and a lot of people saw that as a repudiation of the impeachment effort. Democrats haven't had that warning shot sort of fired across their bow. I don't think they have to be as cautious or feel like they have to be as cautious as Republicans did in '99. The other thing is that President Trump, I think, has a much firmer grip on the party than Bill Clinton did in '98, '99. And so, those two things combined, I think, means that these two sides are really more entrenched than they were back then.
Wall Street Journal editorial board member Jason Riley basically talks about how there's, the backlash against GOP Senator Lisa Murkowski. I mean, she is facing, a lot of people are saying that she's using Democratic talking points and saying, she said that she's disturbed that the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is coordinating with the White House. Let's just listen to this and then have you react.
I do wish she would stop using Democratic talking points to make the argument that she's making. I mean, the fact of the matter here is that the House's job is done, and this idea that they should have any say in how the Senate conducts this trial just is not supported by what is written in black and white in the Constitution.
Is Murkowski in trouble, you think, come 2020? Do you think she's risking her seat after this controversial remark?
I'm not sure about that.
2022, I rather.
Yeah, certainly the remark was notable and newsworthy. It was, I thought, somewhat ambiguous. I mean, she's not really saying where she is yet. And I also thought it was interesting that, she's the only one of these sort of centrist Senate Republicans that we're watching to come out so far along these lines. If House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's strategy is to try to, see if there can be some divisions in Senate Republicans, we've got one Senator Murkowski saying it and nobody else right now. But I think it does sort of speak to this fine line that McConnell has to walk here. He obviously, is working with the White House and needs to make the president, adhere to the things that